multi-threaded programming. You already aware of thread concepts and process concepts in operating system. You are more familiar with those topics. Can you, before going to that, I will ask very few questions related to these topics. Can anyone say the difference between program and process?
Program under execution is process, sir.
Right. Which one is active and which one is passive entity?
Program is passive, sir. Process is active.
Right. Good. Now, when you are writing the program, suppose yesterday I wrote 100 lines of code. I saved the program, I executed it and closed the program yesterday. Today I am trying to open the same program. I am trying to execute the program. It means the program is passively available in the hard disk. The program is passively available in the hard disk. We need to make it as active. That is nothing but we are trying to execute a particular program. That is nothing but process. Which one is heavyweight component and which one is lightweight component? Okay, when you if you observe generally, passive mean it will take less space, okay, less computations. Okay, if it is active mean process is an active component. Okay. Why? Because while executing the particular process, we need different kinds of resources. According to application requirement, we need input resources, output resources, program counter, stack space, all those things like type of resources are required while executing a particular process. That's why process is a heavyweight component and program is a lightweight component. Now, before going to that, we already know main memory. Okay, the main memory, the people are very much crazy nowadays. 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB, 12 GB, like that. The RAM size preferred. Why? Because of increasing the RAM size, we can execute more number of applications parallelly. These things you already know. Now, before going to that, I would like to say one simple concept. What is the necessity of using ROM, ROM, read-only memory? What it will do? Anyone? What are the responsibility of ROM? You already aware of these concepts. People are said that, sir, RAM is temporary storage, ROM is permanently storage. Both are main memory. Where we are going to use that ROM? Any idea?
To load the firmware, sir.
Right. Okay. Can anyone say what is a firmware?
Post and BIOS.
Okay. Actually, combination of hardware and software is called as firmware. With respect to that, please observe, ROM is available hard disk, sorry, motherboard పైన ఉంటుంది ROM. What it contains, it consists of non-erasable instruction. It consists of non-erasable instruction. Actually, that is a hardware component having software intelligent. Sorry, one second. It's a software instructions which is having software instruction with respect to that particular hardware component. That's why it is firmware. Now, it is having read-only instructions. We can't do any modification. What are the responsibility of that firmware? What is the responsibility of ROM? It will.
When a device is turned on, first the ROM will be invoked, sir.
That's good. Now we already aware of booting process. Okay, with respect to booting process, initially what type of steps it will take care? You already aware of booting process. Okay, when you turn on your system, okay, it will take 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, your final desktop screen is visible there. In between, what type of processing is going there?
Checking input output devices, sir, monitors, keyboard, and loading the windows.
Still anyone else? Any idea what is a booting process? While performing booting operation, can anyone know the role of ROM?
It loads the windows in the RAM, sir.
Right, good. Actually, okay, with respect to booting process, when you switch on your system, once you click on the particular power button, immediately what happens? Few signals will go to the your CPU processor. through buses. Okay, it will move some signals immediately with respect to the processor. Okay, processor, what it will do, it will give the instruction to the ROM. It will give the instruction to the ROM. ROM having some predefined instructions. What type of instruction it is having means it has to identify. It has to identify the. Sorry, it has to identify the uh, operating system with respect to our hard disk. Okay, and first what it will do, it will identify where the operating system is passively available in our hard disk. Its first responsibility is to identify the operating system, okay, where it is passively available. After that, okay, once it is identified, immediately its responsibility, the second step of ROM is it, it needs to load that particular operating system into RAM memory, main memory. It should be loaded into main memory. With respect to our hard disk, in C, the operating system is passively available when you are not using. When your system is turned off, then that is passively available in hard disk. When you switch on your system, immediately what happens? The processor is giving instruction to ROM. ROM responsibility is to identify the operating system in the hard disk, and the next step is to load that particular operating system into the main memory. Because of that, our operating system will be loaded in the main memory. That particular process is called as booting. Okay, simply called as booting. Actually, that is bootstrapping. That is a bootstrapping. STRAPPING. That is a bootstrapping techniques that we have to follow while executing, while running any application. Suppose in my system, I'm having 4 GB RAM. Sir, how much operating system will occupy? Means, okay, now if you consider Windows 10 operating system, it will take around 300 to 400 MB memory space. With respect to 4 GB RAM, you're having 400 MB memory space means 10% utilization. Remaining 90%, 3.6 GB RAM is free. With respect to that particular memory space, what you are trying to do mean you are going to do that is nothing. That particular portion is treated as user programmable area. That particular portion is treated as user programmable area. Suppose if you consider your main memory, basically it consists of two parts. The first part is occupied by the operating system, and the part, rest of the portion will be occupied by the user programmable area. User programmable area means with respect to that environment, with respect to that particular portion of the memory, user can execute his own program. User can execute his own program. Immediately you will ask, what is the role of operating system? Why you have to load that operating system in? What are the programs you are loaded with respect to the programmable area that should be executed only with the help of operating system? Okay, operating system just like a government, it will provide services to people. Okay, in the same way, operating system will provide services. Okay, it will give the environment for executing user-defined programs with respect to your main memory. Now, before going to that, we will discuss main memory consists of two parts. First one is OS, and second one is user programmable area. You already aware of mono-programming, multi-programming, multi-processing concepts. Why I'm saying all this mean before going to actual multi-threading concepts, we should be aware of all this. Why? Because while writing the programs, we need to know what is what. Okay, even if you observe, okay, some textbook operating system using Java operating system concepts, Galvin textbook, okay, Java version is also available. It means whatever the algorithms there with respect to operating system, they wrote in Java programming. Such type of things also there. Okay, but we need to know okay what are the responsibility of operating system with the help of those concepts, what type of programs we can do. That's why I'm saying all this. Now, whenever you're loading the program, okay, loaded mean what happened? We are trying to execute the program. If you consider mono programming, what's the meaning of mono programming? At a time, you are going to execute only one program. Okay, single program is loaded in your main memory, and it needs some resources. With the help of those resources, that particular program is going to be executed. No issue. Why? Because only one program is going to be executed. Uniprogramming or monoprogramming. Now, with respect to multi-programming concepts, Why we need to go for multi-programming? Our computation is very fast. The CPU will do functionality very fast. If you are doing only one programming, the CPU efficiencies, we need to use the CPU. CPU utilization should be good. If efficiently we can use the resources with respect to our system, computer system. Now, for the sake of that, what happened? We will go for the multi-programming. With respect to multi-programming, what happened? Day by day user requirements are more. Based on their requirements, they are going to create different types of applications or different types of apps or application software. The application software and apps and application and even. Now, with respect to these particular applications, so we are going to execute multiple things simultaneously. We are going to execute multiple things simultaneously. With respect to that situation, more than one type of different kinds of processes you are going to execute. For a few situations, there is no chance of conflicts. Some situation, what happened, there may be possibility of conflicts. Why the conflicts will occur? More than one process needs the same type of resources. With respect to that situation, there may be chances of deadlocks. Some situation there may be inconsistency happen. Like many situation scenarios will happen. For that, you are going to use inter-process communication, mutual exclusion, otherwise semaphore concepts, lining philosophers, they decide the problem. Okay, like this, many kinds of techniques are available nowadays to make our data synchronization. Okay, and we can avoid the inconsistency among those processes. This is the basic things you already know. Now, you already have a microcomputer. Why the term our personal computer is treated as microcomputer? Anyone say? Why we are saying as microcomputer? There are 4 types of computers you already aware. Okay, supercomputers, microcomputers, mini computers, and mainframe computers. Okay, whatever the computers we are nowadays using, 95% computers all are microcomputers. Okay, you already have microprocessor. Why we are calling it a microprocessor? Why can't we say milliprocessor, nanoprocessor? Anyone? No. Why it is called microprocessor? Micro mean 10 to the power of minus 6. If you want to execute a single instruction with respect to your CPU, it will take 10 to the power of minus 6 seconds. If you want to execute one instruction with respect to your machine, for fetching a particular instruction, fetching, loading, and whatever the instruction you want to execute, it needs 10 to the power of minus 6 seconds. Immediately you can observe in 1 second it is going to execute how many instructions? 10 to the power of 6 instructions. In 1 second, 10 to the power of minus 6. Sorry, one instruction in 10 to the power of minus 6 seconds we are going to execute. It means in 1 second it is going to execute 10 to the power of 6 instructions. 1 million we can execute in 1 second. That much of fast our CPU will be. Now, sir, only 1 million. Okay, you can't we do more than that? Immediately I will ask another question. You already have CPU. CPU configuration you will observe. i3 processor, i5, i7, different kinds of processors are there in our market. Now, with respect to CPU, how the configuration should be measured? So, my i3 processor is having 1.7 gigahertz. Okay, why you are measured in gigahertz with respect to CPU speed or processor speed? Any guess? You are aware of physics, sound topic. Why the frequency?
Clock speed, sir, of the CPU,
Yes.
sir.
Frequency equal to 1 by t, f equal to 1 by t. You already know that. Now, in the same way, if you consider 1.7 gigahertz mean 1.7 into 10 to the power of minus 9 seconds. It means if you want to execute single instruction with respect to i3 processor, it will take 1.7 into 10 to the power of minus 9 seconds. అంటే ఒక ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలంటే 1.7 into 10 to the power of 9 సెకండ్ లో ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. ఇనిషియల్ గా మైక్రో ప్రాసెసర్ అంటే 10 to the power of 6. నౌ మైక్రో ప్రాసెసర్ స్పీడ్ ఎంత పెరుగుతూ వచ్చింది? into 1000 times పెరిగింది. 1.7 into 10 to the power of 9 seconds you are going to execute one instruction. So we are